All right. Hi, everybody. It's Ed, and welcome to our second session for this market practice week. We're going to select our market and we're going to select one to practice with, right? So no stress, no concern about whether this is going to be the right market for you. We're going to be choosing a market that we can practice with for the rest of the challenge. Now, I apologize in advance. I am live streaming these, but I have no idea when I'm going to live stream them. So if you do want to at least get a notification, so if you are in range of your computer when you want to watch these live, then make sure you subscribe and hit the bell button next to subscribe. So it's got those little ringy lines there, so that you can get notified of the live sesh. I'll be releasing them publicly midnight every night during the week, so that by the end of this week, you'll have a full set of exercises to do so that you can pick a market to practice with. And for those of you who have snuck on live, welcome. Well done. You banged the bell and you got notified. So there you go. A little bit of bonus content for you. So when we finished off yesterday, we had got you to do free writing and a mind map of all the possible things that you were interested in. And the more stuff, the better, right? It was great. So what I've done now is I have got a beautifully drawn mind map in front of you, but you will also have a mind map in front of you. And what we have to do is, for the rest of the week, we're going to start to use a series of tests to evaluate which market will eventually win our contest to be our practice market. Now, just because we're choosing a market to practice doesn't mean that we skip things or don't go full out. These are the criteria and the testing criteria that you go through for any market that you're choosing to work with. Okay, so it's very important that you go along and do these exercises. Now, I'm trying to do these as quickly as possible because, again, I want you to be able to do this in a 25-minute session, right? I want to give you 25 minutes. So the first part of this session has to be picking the three markets. And I want you to do that by setting a timer for 5 minutes. That's 5 minutes. And here's the criteria that I want you to use to pick your three. We want to pick three topic areas, okay, for us to evaluate going on further, because we can't test 30, and some of you would want to test all 30, and that's crazy, right? Because we're just picking a market to practice with, right? It's not your forever market. It's just a practice market. And, if you should somehow discover a successful market, sure, I'll be angry. But, hey, if you find a market that makes your first dollar and then earns you $10,000 a month, I suppose you'll put up with my anger. So there's no stress here, right? We're just going through the motions. But by saying that, we are going through the motions, but I want you to take them seriously, right? And I want you to apply the criteria as I am doing it. Okay, so set a time of 5 minutes, and we're going to pick three of whatever markets that you've picked in this 5 minutes. And here's the criteria I am going to give you. Now, I'm not judging. I'm not asking you to think about what do you think will make the most money. I'm not asking you to think about which one you think is most popular. I'm not asking you to think about the market with the greatest need. I'm asking you none of those things. I'm going to ask you two questions. The first one, which of these three markets would be the most fun? Pick the three most fun markets. Then what I want you to do is also have a look at it from the point of view. Ask yourself this question. If I could wave a magic wand and I could be making money in any of these markets, I was guaranteed of a successful business that I was making $10,000 a month after working on it for 12 months. So where you've got this successful business, what are the three that you would love to be working in? Okay, so it's purely what's the most fun to you. That's sorting criteria one. And sorting criteria 2 is if you could wave a magic wand and you knew you were absolutely guaranteed to be successful in 12 months and you could be doing this on a full-time basis, which 3 of the markets that you've selected will be that one. Okay. So these are the 2. All right. These are the 2 and the only 2 questions. So you might want to pause this video now. And of course, if you're live, you can't pause it, but you'll be able to do it once I release the video. I want you to pause the video and then I want you to set a timer for 5 minutes. And at the end of those 5 minutes, you will have picked 3 markets based on what is the most fun. And if I had a magic wand and I could wave it and I knew I was going to be successful and working on this full time in 12 months, which of the 3 markets would I have? So at the end of this exercise, you have 3 markets and you must pick 3 by the end of this process because we need to move on. And so no more, no less. You must have 3. All right. So I'm pretending you're pausing now. And now I'm pretending you've come back and you have 3 markets. If you haven't done it yet, don't go on. Don't just consume this content. Now, I know you live people, you will have to, but don't stop and make sure you've got 3 markets. If you haven't got 3 markets, stop the video until you've got 3 markets. Okay. Don't go on any further. You will just get confused. Now, the next part of the sequence today is when we looked at on our first session for market selection, we asked what were the big fears? What stopped you from choosing a market? And that was a really instructive exercise, really interesting for me too. And perhaps the number one reason that people gave was that they weren't sure if that market was going to be able to make money or not. They just weren't sure. Andy asks, is it 3 plus 3 or combine the 2 criteria to choose a final 3? Combine the 2 criteria to choose a final 3. You must have 3 markets, only 3. 3. Okay. And then, because what we're going to do now is we're going to take those 3 markets and we are going to spend 5 minutes having a search at 3 sites to determine whether these are markets that you can make money in. Okay, because one thing before we go on any further, and I want to remind you of this, is remember Dale's law of markets. Every market is a market. Okay, every single market on planet Earth is at least a $10,000 a month market, right? There is no market on Earth that isn't. However, sometimes there are certain markets which will be a lot easier to make money in, and you have to think a lot less creatively to do so than others. So convincing yourself, more importantly, particularly for you high fact finders, I want to make absolutely sure that, you've got a body of evidence to choose the market that you're going to go forward with. Okay. So right now we're gathering data. We're not judging. We're not making editorial decisions at all. Well, we made one editorial decision, which is to cut the number of markets down to 3 based on which ones you think would be the most fun, but there's no more editorial. Now we're going to take those 3 markets and we are going to apply 3 tests to those markets. We're going to do that right now. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go to clickbank.com. Okay, clickbank.com is a site that sells a lot of information products. There's supplements, language learning. You can see here the German Shepherd Handbook, learning guitar, lots and lots of information products, lots of, subscription services, all sorts of things. It really is an excellent place to see if people are selling stuff in your particular market. So for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm going to pick a silly one. I'm going to pick sausage making to see if anybody is selling in sausage making. But there's a certain place that I want to go, and it's here. It's the affiliate marketplace. I want to go into the affiliate marketplace because that gives us actually a heck of a lot more information than other markets. So one of my markets here is sausage making. So I'm going to type in sausage making. I have no idea what's going to happen here. There may be nothing. Oh, look at that. Build your own barbecue smoker. Now, there's something I wouldn't have automatically thought of, but wow, okay. And what's important, I actually want to sort these by the technology. Let me do that slowly. I want to sort it by gravity, okay? Gravity, because that tells us the things that are making the most money. And so these are things like, so there's fat burning recipes, a model railroad goat, crock pot, paleo, barbecue, paleo style, build your own barbecue smoker, kill it, clean it, cook it, eat it, right? So there's all sorts of different things in there. What if I just put sausage? Got to be careful here. I'm going to set, now you've set a timer for 5 minutes. So you're giving yourself 5 minutes to have a play around and just have a look for, you know, the market. So if let's, another one that I listed in my profile was music production. Music production. So let's have a look here. What do we have? Video game tests, piano, photography, award-winning music production software, make money from YouTube. So I'm getting lots of really interesting ideas. Maybe I should say music producer. Let's see what happens there. Music producer. So I would spend 5 minutes just having a look at all the different elements of what is popping up, what we're seeing here. Just having a look at that. I might have a look at the categories here. There is like a, let's have a look. Computers, internet, business, investing, education, games, health and fitness, home and garden, software and services, sports, travel. So lots of different bits and pieces there. Arts and entertainment. So lots of video and singing, photo editing. Now remember, I sorted by gravity, so it's actually showing the top thing. So learning piano, superior singing. Okay, cool. Award-winning music production. Interestingly, anything that's appearing in the top 10 here is making well over $100,000 a month. So that's a bit of interest. But so I'm having a look. I'm looking up. I'm looking at higher keywords. So for example, I might just type in music just to see what comes up. Right, read music notes, and I'm going to remember to switch it to gravity just to see which one. Video game tester jobs. Cool. That's what I'd, if I had my time again, that's what I'd do. So I'm going to spend 5 minutes doing that. Okay, so that's our, we come back here. That's our first test. I'm not making any judgments. I'm not making any assumptions. Just because I didn't find anything on sausage making, it doesn't mean I'm throwing anything out. All I'm doing is gathering impressions, and I want you to do that 5 minutes only for each of your 3 markets that you've picked. On Clickbank, we're going into affiliate marketing. Then the next spot that we're going to go is we are going to good old Amazon. Okay, and specifically, I actually want to go into the books area, because if there's a book on it, that's usually, and if particularly if there's plenty of books, and particularly if there are plenty of books that sell a bit, that's a pretty good indication that there's some interest in that marketplace. Okay, so here we go. Let's have a look at what we go with sausage making. Sausage. Oh, look at that. Sausage making books. Cool. Let's go sausage making. Easy sausage making, essential techniques and recipes to master. Sausage making, the definitive guide, home sausage making, the homemade sausage, charcuterie. That's sort of like making sausages. I think that's a fancy way of saying sausages. Real barbecue. Cool. I wonder how we can filter some of these things. Sorted by featured, price high to low, publication date, most reviews. So that would be interesting. Let's have a look at most reviews. 404 reviews. That's really cool. But there's clearly people, home production of quality meats and sausages. This appeals to 12-year-old me so much right now. Look at this. There is Bruce Adel's complete sausage book, the guide, the Bible. Now I just want to go into great sausage recipes and meat curing, the 1984 classic. Look at this. That is fantastic. So I'm having a look, checking out the whole thing. That's just really interesting. Other people who bought, and here's the thing. Look at all these things people bought. Amazon also tells you the stuff, natural hog casings. Got to get those natural hog casings. So, you're all laughing at me saying, oh, sausage making, oh, he's just such a 12-year-old boy. But look at all of these. Oh, look at this beast. The sausage stuffer, 2-speed stainless. Woof. Right? And then we've got different sponsored products. These are people. So people have paid money to advertise next to this book. Right? Really interesting. Now, another interesting thing is here. See this Amazon bestsellers rank? It's number 31 in cookbooks, food and wine. Do you think that means that it's more or less likely to be an interesting market? And of course, the answer is, of course, it's going to be it's 31. Think of how many cookbooks there are on the planet. And this is number 1 in meats. Sorry, number 31 in meats. Right? So there's plenty, and it's the bestseller. It's 29,288 in the world, full stop. Of the millions of books, this is the 29,288th best-selling book. That's a pretty good indicator that this market that you're all laughing at me about is actually a market that people are pretty serious about. Right? So I would go and I'd spend 5 minutes and I would do those 3 things. So I would go type in the name, have a look at the products here. There's plenty of product. There's obviously plenty of people that are selling stuff. Pink curing salt, salami, different sausage machines. There's a whole bunch of stuff here that is selling. Now, I'm not going to look at reviews today, but I will come back. and look at reviews later on in our research, but not right now. Okay, cool. So that is really interesting. Is there a ranking you don't want to go over? Be in the top 1,000? No way. Like, if you're in the top 250,000 selling books in the world, that's got to be fantastic. It's not neither here nor there. You're just absorbing information. Didn't I say to you, there is no criteria here. All we're doing is absorbing information. We're just having a look at sausage making compared to music production. If I chose music production, so sausage making was the number 1 book on sausage making itself was ranked 29,000. So if I have a look at music production, here we go. Let's have a look at some books in music production. And if we do that by, we had a look at most reviews. and all of these are not useful because that's not music. How that came up was no good. So I'll just go with featured this time just to have a look. Let's have a look. I listen to Bobby's podcast, so let's have a look at this one. It's only had 6 reviews though. But just again, compare and contrast. This one is 110,556. Now, I don't know if this is the best-selling book because I couldn't be bothered right now to go through it, but you've got 5 minutes to have a look at your market and compare the 3. But just if we were comparing apples with apples, or sausage making and music production, I'm not making any judgments. I haven't asked you to make any judgments. I'm just observing that this book is 110,556th in the top-selling Amazon books, and the sausage making one was 29,000. Okay, that's all I'm doing. Not making any other suggestions than that. I'm just absorbing information. The final thing that I want to do is put in sausage making into Google. Now, notice in our even in the suggestions, it came up with a bunch of different locations, and your Google screen will be completely different. Like when I said yes to using my location, it got rid of all the shopping stuff because that was all American shopping stuff. Each one will be different. But I'm having a look here, a whole bunch of information. Now, I am seeing there's a culinary school, sausage is made simple, and there's a bunch of stuff for sale. But I'm just having a look. Okay, cool. Right. Fantastic. Hip hop. Production. Okay, so seeing a bunch of things. What I'm not seeing is a lot of advertising. Cool. Okay, so sausage making course. So there's a bunch of courses there. In this case, nobody. Oh, yeah, there we are. Ad, making small goods at home, all the supplies you need. So somebody's advertising there. I suspect because I'm using the iPad, it's also restricting the amount of results as well. But your results will be different. But what am I looking for? I'm looking for advertising. I'm looking for courses. I'm looking for ways to make money. So just based on what I've seen right now, and I haven't been doing the 5 minutes of research, I've just been doing a quick research here, you can see a whole bunch of commerce and people making money in both of those markets, sausage making and music production. So there's a bunch of people doing courses, there's equipment, there's a whole bunch of stuff. Very high ranking book sales, particularly for sausage making. So there's a bunch of stuff. So today, all I'm asking you to do is to go to Clickbank, go to Amazon, and do a Google search on your markets. And I want you to simply observe what you see. And then what I'd like you to do is, once you've had a chance to do that, so we've 5 minutes of Amazon, 5 minutes of Clickbank, 5 minutes of Google. That's 15 minutes. Then I'd like you to spend 5 minutes just doing a free write. What have you observed? What did you notice? What did you pick up? Right? 5 minutes on the clock, just writing the 5 minutes of what you need to write. And then finally, pop onto the Academy group. Sorry, Academy group. Whoops. Get out of Academy mode. Pop onto the challenge group and type your impressions. What did you find out? What did you discover? What did you learn? All right, and have a think about that. And if you had got any questions or anything like that, please pop on the group and ask questions there. But remember, we're in observing mode. We're not in judgment mode. One of the biggest problems people have with choosing a market is they engage their inner resistance and editorial voice way too early. And if there is a lesson from this, it is all about making sure we don't make judgments before we have to. All right, so that's it. Success gifts. Jay, I'm confused. This is a market gathering topic for beginners. Yes, that's exactly what this is. If we already have an e-com site built with products, just need to acquire traffic, you'll come along later. This is not for you right now. Or join the Academy. We do lots of traffic stuff there. But no, right now we're picking a market. All right, folks, that is it for today. Go forth and prosper. So we've got a 25-minute session. We've broken it down, just a reminder. 5 minutes on Clickbank. Sorry, 5 minutes, choose your market. Choose 3. Must be 3. 5 minutes Clickbank, 5 minutes Amazon, 5 minutes Google, 5 minutes free write, and you then just write up your impressions and you are good to go. All right, have fun, enjoy. I want to keep it pretty quick because I want you to be working and not watching my videos. All right, folks, we'll speak soon, and look out. The next video will be released at midnight tomorrow night. Okay. All right. Ciao for now. See you later.